The Radical Revolution: Why Community Trumps Competition in Black Entrepreneurship. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm truly honored to stand before you today to share some transformative insights that have the power to reshape how we view success, especially within Black entrepreneurship. These revelations came through my recent profound conversation with Quiana Thompson, a visionary leader whose work is quietly revolutionizing business paradigms across America. Kiana isn't just a successful entrepreneur, she's a movement catalyst, a paradigm shifter who's challenging deeply entrenched narratives about what it means to succeed in spaces where Black professionals have historically been marginalized. Her approach combines fierce intelligence with radical compassion, creating ripples that are becoming waves of change throughout entrepreneurial communities nationwide. What struck me most during our conversation was a perspective that fundamentally challenges everything we've been taught about achievement. In a world obsessed with individual accomplishment, with the self made mythology that permeates our culture, Kiana reveals something profoundly counterintuitive. Success in entrepreneurship for Black professionals isn't just about breaking barriers or achieving financial milestones. It's deeply rooted in building empowered, collaborative communities. This insight might seem simple on the surface, but make no mistake, it's revolutionary. We've been conditioned to celebrate the lone success story, the exceptional individual who made it despite the odds. We glorify the solitary journey, the singular genius, the isolated triumph. But what if that narrative isn't just incomplete? What if it's actively harmful? What if true transformation comes not when we succeed alone, but when we uplift each other and create collective impact? This is the heart of what I want to share with you today, a different vision of success that centers community over competition, mentorship over isolation, and faith driven resilience over momentary achievements. It's a vision that doesn't just redefine success, it reimagines the entire journey. When I asked Kiana about what truly drives sustainable success for Black entrepreneurs, her answer wasn't what most business gurus would tell you. She didn't talk about hustle culture or working harder than everyone else. She didn't mention sacrificing everything or outperforming competitors. Instead, she spoke about the power of community, turning potential competitors into collaborators and creating networks of mutual support that elevate everyone involved. Let me share a remarkable example that illustrates this principle with stunning clarity. The Bow Collective consists of over 200 Black women owned businesses that together generate $1.4 billion. Let that number sink in for a moment. $1.4 billion. That's not just impressive, it's transformative. It's economy shifting, but here's what makes this story so powerful. These women recognized that overcoming systemic obstacles individually was painfully slow, often demoralizing, and ultimately insufficient. Working in isolation limited their access to capital, resources, and opportunities. So instead of competing against each other for scraps from an inequitable table, they did something radical. They built their own table. They formed a coalition focused on shared learning, pooled resources, and group advocacy efforts. They recognized that their individual struggles weren't personal failures, but systemic challenges that required collective solutions. The result wasn't just incremental improvement, it was exponential growth. Their collective approach dramatically increased revenue generation and gave them greater negotiating power with partners and investors. What began as informal networking events evolved into structured collaboration after they recognized their shared struggles and opportunities. Together, they've surpassed the $1 billion milestone and established national influence as leaders supporting each other's growth journeys. Most importantly, they've changed narratives around what's possible when Black women unite professionally, inspiring similar models nationwide. This is what Quiana means when she talks about community over competition. The most impactful Black entrepreneurs aren't those who succeed alone, they're those who invest in their networks and actively support others' growth. They understand that a rising tide truly does lift all boats, but only if everyone has access to the water. The second key insight from our conversation focuses on mentorship. Kiana believes that consistent mentorship, whether formal or informal, can be a game changer, accelerating professional development for both mentors and mentees within our communities. Consider the work of Quiana Butler, who hosts business boot camps designed specifically to educate, empower, and mentor emerging entrepreneurs, especially within marginalized groups. Butler recognized a critical gap. Many early stage founders lacked guidance, confidence, or practical know how, and traditional mentorship avenues were often inaccessible to them. Rather than simply lamenting this problem, she created a solution. She organized free and low cost boot camps, provided hands on training, and showed up consistently, even without direct compensation. She understood that investment in others yields returns that can't always be measured in dollars and cents. The impact has been remarkable. Dozens of entrepreneurs have advanced from the idea stage to profitable ventures. But what's even more powerful is the ripple effect. A new generation of mentors and leaders has emerged from former mentees, creating an ever expanding circle of support and knowledge sharing. Butler's story resonates deeply because it stems from her own struggles. Having faced challenges finding supportive mentors early in her career, she vowed no one else would have to go it alone if she could help. She's built a trusted reputation as a mentor's mentor and expanded her reach via digital platforms so geography is no longer a barrier. Most significantly, she's fostered a self sustaining culture where giving back has become the norm, strengthening the entire ecosystem of Black entrepreneurship. This is what happens when we embrace mentorship as a multiplier of success. It's not just about individual growth, it's about creating sustainable pathways for others. The third insight Kiana shared speaks to something deeper than business strategy. She emphasized that grounding your journey in faith, however you define it, provides an unshakable foundation to weather setbacks and keep moving forward with purpose. For high achieving Black women who have spent years in survival mode, leading teams, raising families, holding down households, carrying communities, faith becomes not just a spiritual practice, but a form of radical self preservation. It's about believing in something greater than yourself when the world seems determined to limit your possibilities. It's about finding inner strength when external circumstances push against you. It's about maintaining hope when conventional wisdom suggests you should give up. This faith driven resilience is beautifully illustrated in the story of Quiana Shamsiddin, a veteran entrepreneur who is set to become one of the few Black women veteran owners of her type of business in the United States. Navigating underrepresentation as both a woman veteran and entrepreneur presented formidable challenges. But Shamsiddin leveraged her unique background and network strategically within veteran and minority business circles. She positioned herself as an industry pioneer and inspired others through her visibility. Her journey began after military service when she identified gaps where her skills could make an impact. She built her brand around authenticity and is now launching Naya's, her new venture, becoming a role model for other aspiring Black women veterans. The impact of her work extends far beyond her personal success. She has broadened perceptions of what leadership looks like among veterans and inspired more inclusive entrepreneurial ecosystems. What these stories reveal is a fundamental truth that challenges conventional wisdom about success. The path forward isn't about climbing over others to reach the top, it's about building ladders that everyone can climb together. For too long, success has been defined by exhaustion, by how much you can endure, how many hours you can work, how many responsibilities you can juggle. But what if true success looks different? What if it's measured by how many people you've lifted as you climb, by the strength of your community rather than the size of your bank account, by your capacity to rest and renew rather than your ability to push through burnout? This is the revolution that Quiana Thompson is championing, a redefinition of success that centers collective uplift over individual achievement. And it's not just a nice theory. The examples I've shared demonstrate that this approach works. The Bow Collective's $1.4 billion in collective revenue proves that community collaboration creates exponential growth. Kiana Butler's mentorship boot camps show that investing in others yields returns that benefit everyone. Kiana Shamsiddin's pioneering entrepreneurship illustrates how breaking barriers isn't just personal, it opens doors industry wide. So, where do we go from here? How do we take these insights and transform them into action? I challenge you today to radically reimagine your definition of success. Ask yourself, what would change in my business, in my community, in my life if I prioritize collective uplift over individual achievement? If I measured my success not just by what I accomplish alone, but by how many others I bring along with me? What if, instead of guarding your resources, your knowledge, your connections, you shared them generously? What if, instead of viewing others in your field as competition, you saw them as potential collaborators? What if, instead of trying to be exceptional alone, you committed to being exceptional together? This isn't just about feel good platitudes. This is about a fundamental shift in how we approach entrepreneurship, leadership, and community building. It's about recognizing that the old models of success, built on scarcity, competition, and individualism, are not serving us. They're not creating the world we want to live in. The time has come to build something new, to create models of success that center abundance, collaboration, and collective power, to recognize that our liberation is bound together, that none of us truly succeeds until all of us have the opportunity to thrive. This is your invitation to join the revolution, to be part of a movement that's redefining what success looks like, to commit to using your unique strengths not only for your own advancement, but also to lift someone else up, to collaborate today so our collective wins become tomorrow's legacy. The future belongs to those who understand that we rise together or not at all. Will you be one of them? Thank you.